to today's Westpac webinar, Deterministic CCIT Testing for Pharmaceutical and Medical Packaging. My name is Roy Strinan, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. A few housekeeping items before we start. All attendees are in muted mode and will remain muted for the duration of the webinar. Next, let's take a moment to ensure that everyone is ready and familiar with the webinar control panel. You should have a control panel on the right side of your screen. You can minimize the panel by clicking on the orange arrow button in the upper left corner. You may expand the panel by clicking on the same button. You can submit questions at any point using the chat pane located near the bottom of the control panel. We will be answering questions after the presentation. If we are unable to address all questions, we will follow up by email afterwards. For those registered and logged into the webinar, you can download a copy of the slide deck now. Look for it on your webinar control panel. Okay, let's get started. We are very fortunate to have an excellent presenter today. Greg Schwinghammer is a principal engineer at Westpac. With over 20 years experience at Westpac, Greg has held roles ranging from test engineer to general manager. His primary focus is ensuring customers receive the highest quality service and timely results for all testing projects. Recognized as a go-to expert in the field, Greg provides trusted guidance on test protocols, equipment capabilities, and package design optimization. He's an active member of ASTM's committees D10 for packaging, FO2 for primary barrier packaging, E60 for sustainability, and holds a packaging dynamics professional certification from ISTA. I'm going to give the microphone over to Greg, who will begin the presentation now.
Awesome. Thanks, Roy. So today we're going to go over Westpac, have a Westpac overview really quick. What is CCI testing? Some CCIT vocabulary, types of CCI testing, vacuum decay testing in more detail, and why you would want to choose Westpac for your vacuum decay testing. So a little bit about Westpac. We were founded in 1986. So it's our 40th year in business this year. We have over 100 employees, and we're 100% employee owned. We are both ISTA certified and ISO 17025 accredited. And our vacuum decay testing will be part of that 17025 accreditation, in case you're wondering. So a little bit about container closure integrity testing. If you signed up for the webinar, you probably already know about this testing, but if you don't, we're going to start at a high level and drill down from there. So CCIT stands for Container Closure Integrity Testing. What type of companies would want to run container closure integrity testing, or CCIT? Pharmaceutical, medical device that have sealed containers, and the food industry. So if you think about it, when you buy cheese at the grocery store, it's sealed in a plastic vacuum container. And how do they know that when they ship it around the world that it's still going to maintain that integrity throughout the test? They'll do transportation testing on that food and then do vacuum leak testing on that. Why would you want to run this type of testing? To ensure the safety and efficacy of the product, and also want to make sure that it doesn't contain, allow contamination in, and it maintains its sterility. So what is CCIT? It's a variety of tests to detect leaks and ensure seals are intact. And it's regulated by both the FDA and the United States Pharmacopoeia, or USP. And I always get USP and USPS confused, but they're two completely different bodies. They're both governmental bodies, but one is for the pharmaceutical industry and one gets you your mail. So a little bit of vocabulary. Again, we'll go through it one more time. Container Closure Integrity, or CCIT. That's what CCIT stands for. What is a container closure system? It refers to the entire package components that together contain the product and protect it. Package integrity is defined as the package's ability to prevent it from product loss and maintain product sterility. What is a critical defect? Any package defect that can be directly linked to patient safety. That the results of critical defects could mean product loss of sterility, microbial contamination, or loss of headspace. What is a micron? It's 1/1,000,000 of a meter. The system we purchased at Westpac, depending on your product and package configuration, can test down to 1 micron. The maximum allowable leak limit, or MAL, is the greatest leak rate that can be accepted for a given drug package system that does not pose a risk to the product safety or patient safety. To calculate the MAL, you need to know product type, container type, and package conditions. So what are the different types of CCIT? There are 6 different types of CCIT. There's dye ingress, laser-based headspace analysis, force sensing, helium leak detection, high voltage leak detection, and vacuum decay. So let's get a little bit more detail on each of these. Dye ingress is the way you conduct dye ingress is you put samples and positive controls and submerge them in a bath of dye and subject them to vacuum cycles and evaluate them for leaks. So you'll subject them to those vacuum, pull them out of the dye, and look and see if there are leaks in your negative controls or your product, and make sure your positive controls show dye has gone through them. Laser-based headspace analysis is based on laser absorption spectroscopy, and measures gas concentrations. It's non-destructive and is good for various package types like vials, ampules, syringes, also flexible packaging and IV bags. Force sensing is used to measure force applied by flexible packaging to test for leaks. Force sensor technology measures the force decay on flexible packaging containers when either mechanical squeezing or vacuum expansion is applied. Helium leak detection, you first have to fill, first the unit must be filled with helium, which can be achieved in a few different ways. A vacuum is then applied to the test sample, and a mass spectrometer is used to detect the pressure or the presence of helium. The detection of helium is indicated, and that tells you if there's a leak or not. High voltage leak detection is you put a high voltage across the container, which is non-conductive, and you have a conductive product inside the container. And if there is a leak, the high voltage will go through that container and it will detect a difference in voltage. And this can test samples with defects down to 1 or 2 microns. And vacuum decay, the sample is placed in a test chamber. The chamber is evacuated, and during the analysis phase, the pressure is maintained and checks for leaks of pressure out of that container. So now let's get into what is vacuum decay a little bit more. The picture on the left here shows the vial in the package, or the vial in the test chamber here. And the way it works is you put the vial in the design test chamber here and put the lid on, pull a vacuum around it, and then the system will test if there's leaks. So it's very, very precise, and it tells you whether it failed or not. So what types of packages can be tested for vacuum decay? You can test vials, ampules, pre-filled syringes, bottles, blow-fill seal containers, and sachets and pouches. And the system we purchased can test all of these. We just need to have a fixture made for each different type of specific packaging you have. So what are the benefits of vacuum decay? This is a non-destructive test. Unlike dye ingress or bubble testing, the package and product remain intact and eliminate the cost of sacrificing units. This is a highly sensitive test capable of detecting minute leaks as small as 1 micron, depending on the product and container type. Vacuum decay testing is generally considered a more reliable and sensitive alternative to traditional bubble test or dye tests. While a bubble test relies on a human operator to spot bubbles, where the vacuum decay test provides a quantitative data-based result. And that's what the FDA and the USP are looking for more now, is that data-based quantitative test results. The vacuum decay test method is listed in USP 1207 as an applicable test method for detecting leaks in non-porous, rigid, or flexible packages. It's also part of ASTM F2338, and this test method, both test methods are recognized by the FDA for your 510K submissions. It is a trusted standard for ensuring integrity of sterile medical, pharmaceutical, and food packaging. The system Westpac purchased is also fully 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. Overall, this test is useful as a research tool for optimizing packaging, sealing parameters, and for comparative evaluation of various packaging and materials. This test method is also applicable to production settings as it is a rapid, non-invasive, non-destructive test for making it useful for either 100% inline testing or for testing a statistical sample for production operations. And we've seen this when we've been on some customer tours, that they have these systems in place for 100% evaluation of their product as it goes down the manufacturing line. So as we get into more detail here, the critical test parameters that must be established for each package and test fixture combination. These are the parameters that will vary based on the package geometry and the product inside. So when we start to develop the test method and the fixture, we'll need to partner with you to get all the details so we can build that out for you. So you're not going to have to deal with that. A large sample size of control samples of non-leaking packages must be used to optimize the critical test parameters. So we'll need to have samples in-house to be able to do the method validation to make sure that we can detect leaks and that we can detect non-leaks. The sensitivity test is a function of the package design, the transducers in the test system, and the test chamber design. These are high-level points. When you partner with us, we'll get into much more detail on what is needed for developing the test method and design of the fixture. So method development. So there's two parts to this test. There's the fixture, and then there's the method development that will help determine how the system detects the leaks. So what's needed for the method development is the target vacuum level you want to test to, stabilization time, test time, acceptance criteria, and that's all on the parameter side in the system. So we'll work on getting that done. And then package specific considerations are the type of product being tested and the creation of the custom test chamber. Again, you partner with us, you don't have to worry about any of that. We take care of that for you. And so why would you want to partner with Westpac? You don't need to worry about large capital investment. The equipment's not cheap. You won't need to manage and maintain and calibration of the equipment. We handle the test fixture and method development. We have over 40 years of experience. And if prior to the CCI testing, you need to have transportation testing done or ICH storage testing done, we can do that here at Westpac and just have it all as one bundle for the CCI testing and the transportation ICH storage test. So that was quick and easy, 15 minutes or so. Hopefully it was informative. Roy, do we have any questions?
Yes, Greg, thank you for interesting presentation. We do have a few questions. First, someone asked, you said you need a fixture made for each package. How long does that take?
Usually it takes 6 to 8 weeks or 4 to 6, actually 4 to 6 weeks to get the fixture made. It will need samples in, and we'll need to work with our engineering firm to get that test fixture made. And you have to make one for each different type of package you have. Okay. Hopefully that answered the question. Yeah. Any others?
Yes, another question is, are there any types of packages that you can't use vacuum testing for?
Vacuum testing really can't be used for medical devices in pouches that are breathable. So if you have a Tyvek layer on your pouch or tray, you can't really use vacuum testing for that. Your bubble test is still your best way of checking for gross leaks in your package. If you need a smaller known failure for your seals on a poly-Tyvek pouch, dye penetration testing, test down to 50 microns. So that's kind of, it has to be a sealed container to be able to do this testing, non-breathable sealed container.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. Uh, Someone asked, do you need a separate test chamber for different products, or can you use the same test chamber?
If you're putting your products in the same container we already have a fixture for, all we'll have to do is develop the test method for that new product in that vial. So if you're using a specific vial across multiple product lines, we can use that same test fixture. We would just need to develop a new test method for each of those separate products.
Okay, well, I think that's we're running to the end of our time. So I want to thank you, Greg, for a great presentation, and I want to thank everyone who attended and submitted questions. We truly appreciate each one of you. For anyone whose questions did not get answered, we will respond to you directly by email within a few days. If you missed anything or would like to listen to this webinar again, please go to our website at westpac.com under resources, the webinar tab. The webinar materials will be uploaded within the next couple of days. Thank you for attending today's presentation.